Last week, I dropped my computer on the floor. Should not have been as catastrophic as it was. I took it to the Apple store for repair. They told me I broke the board inside and that I lost my hard drive. I didn't lose everything, but I did lose the most recent content I had been creating. So I'm starting over. I hope you enjoy this video. Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here, and today we're going to talk about how to get promoted in 2022, starting the year off strong. So there are a few things to consider when we decide we're ready for a promotion. First, there are 3 different levels of experience that qualify us for a particular promotion, and we do want to make sure we're navigating within any one of those qualifications, and also that the situation you're in specifically allows for the potential for a promotion. We want to make sure that you're inside certain parameters because that's going to make it easier for you. So first, you could be a person who is new to your job. Maybe you've had it for a year and you believe that you're working at a lower level and need to be adjusted upward so that you can be working at your skill level. Now, it's possible that you had a conversation when you were hired that said, if you're meeting certain expectations, we expect to align you better after the first year and put you in a position that's more aligned with your experiences and your qualifications. In that case, you can make the argument for a promotion. Number 2, you could be 3 to 5 years in. That's a great window of experience to position yourself either to move out into a new job in the company or even out of the company, in which case you can negotiate a promotion when you're moving, or you could decide I'm inside this window of opportunity and it looks like I should start preparing myself for what comes next. This is a great space to be in. Number 3, you have 3 to 7 years experience. You've been in the same job for quite a while, and you've now decided, after you've spent time really learning the job, or you really enjoyed the job, which is why you weren't in a hurry to get promoted, or you were really building your skills and it took this much time to feel comfortable in that space, and you now feel you're ready for a promotion, also a good space to be in. The framework we're going to use is going to allow you to understand how you need to position yourself strongly if you do expect to get promoted and the people around you still haven't come around to that understanding. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we want to do is make sure we understand what our relationship is with our supervisor. I coach a wide variety of people. All of them give me different answers for the type of relationship they have with their supervisor, and it varies. I have one person who's very close friends with her boss. She brought her aboard on this new company. They stood up to each other's weddings. They've worked together extensively for many years, and now she's working under her, and she feels empowered by her boss, but also constantly feels like she needs to prove herself because she wants to maintain a professional relationship, even though they know each other personally. All the way to the other side of the spectrum, which is, my boss is crazy. I don't really want to engage with them. I try to get all my work done around that person, and I spend as little time as possible communicating with them or even sharing my goals and objectives. And then there's anything in between, which is I just met the person, or I just got a new supervisor, or the person is really busy and I don't want to take up too much of his valuable time. So let's talk about what it means to establish a healthy relationship with your boss and why this first step is the most critically important in terms of understanding if and when you're ready for a promotion. Now, your boss is in charge of a number of other people and is trying to navigate and negotiate raises, salary adjustments, promotions, and even helping people get into new spaces, transferring them out and then transferring new people in or doing the hiring process. So they're not as focused on your development as you'd like them to be, or as we would hope to think they should be. So being able to walk up to your supervisor, your boss, and telling them, I have this goal. This is where I want to be in this amount of time. You're not really going to ask them, do you think that's realistic? Because people can tell you what their opinion is. But what you do want to ask is, how can I make this happen in this time frame? And they'll tell you, I don't see a path forward for these reasons. And that's less about an opinion, but more about this is the landscape that we're facing right now. Or they can tell you, Sure, that sounds doable. I have opportunities for you, so let's try to make that happen. Those are the two answers. Now, if you don't have a very healthy relationship with your boss, you have to ask yourself, is this a space where I want to be if I really don't have a healthy relationship with my boss and I have concerns that my boss evaluates me unfairly or doesn't speak up for me during meetings or doesn't advocate for me during projects with stakeholders? Am I seeing problematic behavior? Your better bet is to try to get into another department and look for a promotion in that space or find a new job and negotiate a promotion in a new space. However, if you have a mediocre relationship with your boss and that person might be just a very busy person, you can get in front of that person either by sending emails, charting a path for yourself and saying, what are your thoughts? And then taking ownership of the process. It doesn't matter which level you are in the three personalities or the three positions that I described. What matters is you are now opening up a bridge with the one person who can help you move forward on your terms, what you're looking for. Now, if you're a person who's just finished their first year and you want to have a meaningful conversation with your boss and say, look, it doesn't appear that this is really my wheelhouse. You and I talked when I was getting hired. Then you want to chart a path within the next 3 to 6 months of where am I getting adjusted, and your boss should already be on the same page with you in regards to that. A 3 to 5 year person, especially if you're around 3 or 4 years, you absolutely want to start having this conversation, especially if getting promoted is important to you. So you get in front of your boss, you start telling the person, look, this is where I want, this is the time frame, I feel like I'm on target, and I want to know how far apart we are in the deliverables and the number of wins that I have that are documented and how my performance is going so that I know where to adjust because I want to have the promotion by that time. Now, if you're at the 5 to 7 years and you haven't been promoted in quite a while, you were really enjoying your role and learning deep knowledge in that space, and now you feel like you're ready for that space for a new challenge, your boss is most likely going to be very happy to hear that or likely willing to help you in that space. Again, the first step is to have a conversation with your boss, understand what your path forward is, chart it out with your boss, and ask these very specific questions. Not, do you think I can be promoted? We don't really want to hear opinions. What we want to hear is, I have created a path for myself. Where do we have alignment? Stick with the facts, and the facts are, we do not have enough projects to delegate to you potentially. I haven't seen you perform at this level. You're going to need to show me you can do certain decision making or project management space or people management space. All of that is fine as long as they tell you where the gaps are and they help you create a path forward. I actually have a client who told me that he had been acting. An acting executive director will say, because they had an opening and they told him do it for a year. He had been doing it for a year. At the end of the year, he went to them and said, I like this job. I've been doing it for a year. And his boss said, I don't think you would enjoy this, or this isn't your space. So they hired somebody else to fill that role. And he was really taken aback and surprised. Why? Well, this guy was just giving his opinion, and it wasn't for him to decide what my client did or did not want. It was for him to help him understand where there could be a path forward. All he had to really say was, we need you to show more experience in this space. If you can start developing in this space, I see a path forward for you. And instead, he was very dismissive. So at this point, he's going to start working on finding a path forward in another area. Where can he find a path forward? Why? Because the promotion for him is important in the next level of his career development. That's the point here. Whatever your goals are, you want to walk in with those goals and tell them, this is why it's important in my career development. I'm invested in this company. I've been working here for a while, and I believe that this is the next step for me. Let's get on the same page. Okay, now the second part, number 2, is to set goals with projects and objectives, and then to get in front of stakeholders. So once you've created a path with your supervisor, and your supervisor says, okay, in the next 6 to 12 months, if you're showing us that you're doing this type of work, we see a path forward for a promotion. By then, you should just know that you're working toward objectives that are going to just get you promoted. It isn't that they'll say, well, we don't want them to say, do this and we'll revisit it in 6 months and I'll let you know. They should be in a space where if you tell them I'm ready for a promotion, they should be able to tell you, okay, if you're ready for a promotion, these are the things you need to get done in order to qualify for that in 6 months. In which case, you're just setting yourself up for the goals, for the objectives, for the wins that you need to collect, and the people that you need to work with so that they actually have experience working with you and can advocate for you for a promotion. And from there, you're now going to start tracking your progress. What skills were you supposed to show? If you want to be a people manager, how are you running a project? Not deliverables, deadlines, and budget, but how are you inspiring and influencing the people on the team to make sure they come in on target and they work well together? This is about you creating a space where you're showing others that you've developed the skills necessary for that next space. It's like somebody just recently told me, I'm not getting promoted into a job I don't already know how to do, right? We're always preparing ourselves to do the next level job before we get it. And all we need to do now is convince them, I'm ready. And they'll tell you, okay, we have this timeline. Why are timelines important? You're preparing them. They're getting time to make the decisions and build the case for you. And then they're also building in where they can fit you in for a promotion, especially if it requires them to give you a salary adjustment. They're going to have to be able to pay for it. And then also that there is a role available. If there isn't a role available, your boss should be able to have an honest conversation with you about where you can go next. We don't have a position here for you in that timeline. However, this other department looks like it could be a good match for you. And I think you should get in front of those people because they do need we'll say a manager. And they've been looking around, and I'm happy to recommend you if you're okay with that space. This is what we're looking for in terms of solutions so that we know that we're on the right track in making sure we can get promoted and that our boss is advocating for us and that he's getting us in front of stakeholders and on projects that are important. And number 3, make sure you follow up every month. List out your wins, list out your objectives, list out your strengths and your development areas, and every month check in with your supervisor and stakeholders to make sure that you're on target. Asking for feedback. Don't ask for feedback 6 months later. Asking for feedback right away and saying, that meeting went well. What are your thoughts? Do you believe that I showed up in a more authoritative space? Where do you think that I could have shown up different, better, bigger? Where do you think I was lacking, right? I'm still trying to build my skills or actually show the skills that I know I already have so others can see me doing it. Am I performing at that level? And you want to get honest feedback from the people around you. Yeah, that meeting went well. Yes, you're showing improvement from before. Yes, you're right on track with where I think that you should have development. Or yeah, you had a few problems. You might want to work in this area. Sometimes you don't sound confident. That's the kind of feedback you're looking for from stakeholders who have to work with you on projects, and also peers, and then also your supervisor. Yeah. I just saw that you finished this project. I love the deliverables. Love what you brought back forward. We're actually presenting it to my boss, the next person up. We'd love for you to be on the call. We're looking for these kinds of wins to collect. Now, you're going to continue doing this, and within 6 months, so that puts us, if we're looking at the end of December, January, then in 6 months, end of June into July, you want to have completely created a path forward for yourself. You want to completely have built up a number of skills that are really solid, and people who've documented and confirmed, yeah, you're working in this space. And from July until the end of the year, or whenever promotions, reviews, budget talks happen, so July or September, October, or December, you're starting to prepare yourself for what comes next. Any loose ends, any conversations you need to have, any type of check-in, any putting a red bow on your package, which includes, let me volunteer for talking to that senior executive up at the top. I think I can handle it. I'm just going to prepare the material, run it by you, and then, go in there real confident. Anywhere where you can just add a little extra is going to go a long way. Now, you may find by June, July, you've worked really hard toward this space. So you're either going to hear, you're on target, we have a space for you, there's a position for you, we're all ready, and this is just formalities going forward. Or you may find, sorry, that job was eliminated, or we're downsizing, or any number of unpredictable elements could come into play. Somebody else interviewed for the position, or we transferred a really strong contender. In that case, you want to negotiate for what you can get as a consolation prize for now, which is going to position you strongly into the next few months. So if a position falls away, you want to be able to say to the person that you're talking to, look, I put in a lot of effort here. I still am on track for wanting this promotion. It's really important to me, and I believe that it's going to be important for my career, especially the way I contribute to this company. What are you offering me instead? So they could come up with something, or they could just tell you sorry. Depending on, how the landscape looks for employment heading into 2022, the consensus is that it's pretty optimistic. We're going to be cautiously optimistic that things are going to settle down. People are going to get into new roles, and they're going to start feeling quite much better than they did the last year with the great employment migration and people moving around, mostly because they just want to find fulfillment and engagement with their jobs and feeling good about the work they're doing. I imagine that in 2022, many people will have settled into great roles, and they'll be ready to hit the ground running and show what they have to offer. So that's it for this video on how to get promoted in 2022. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.